Believe it or not, the lessons I learned from losing money taught me more about trading options than making over $300,000 ever did. And after growing a six-figure options portfolio, mentoring 400 plus students, I now know exactly what mistakes to avoid and the most surefire way to guarantee long-term success with options. So in this video, I'm going to show you precisely how I'd learn options trading today if I started from zero. Let me start with a story about how my options journey almost ended before it even began. So about 10 years ago, when I was getting a bit more serious about investing, I stumbled into the strange and exciting world of options trading. And one day I saw one of those flashy ads promising underground trading secrets Wall Street doesn't want you to know. And intrigued as I was, I clicked on it, and after watching a 40-minute video, I was handing over $997 for some sort of secret options trading system. And of course, the guru behind it all showed screenshots of these massive profits, glowing testimonials from so-called students who had supposedly made six figures from a single trade. You know, I was completely hooked on this dream of overnight riches. And you can probably guess what happened next, because I almost lost my entire account following this so-called secret strategy. Now, why was this? Because the system that I got sold was built for a very specific market environment, and oddly enough, a market environment that no longer existed. Of course, the guru conveniently had forgotten to mention that part in the sales presentation. And here's the lesson from my painful experience. When you're starting out, it's natural to want to learn fast. It's natural to want to see results quickly. But the biggest mistake you can make is falling into the shortcut trap and believing these promises of overnight success. Because the options trading world is full of flashy promises. You know, make $10,000 a month in just 10 minutes a day. Turn $500 into $50,000 with this one weird trick. And these claims aren't designed to educate you. They're designed to bypass that logical brain and tap directly into your emotions, tap directly into that FOMO. Because think about this logically. If there was really a way to get rich quickly, massive returns with minimal risk, would you really be selling it online for $997? No, you'd probably be using it quietly to become a billionaire and live on a yacht somewhere. So what should you do instead? Well, you start by mastering the basics. You get an understanding of the mechanics of simple, proven strategies. And yes, that is not glamorous, and it won't make you rich overnight. But trust me, this is absolutely essential, because I've personally mentored hundreds of successful options traders now. And let me tell you, not a single one of them got rich quickly. Instead, they built their skills methodically, trade by trade, week by week, month by month. And the ones who tried to rush the process and skip ahead inevitably didn't get the results they were looking for. Just like I didn't get the results that I was looking for at the start of my journey. Because here's the bottom line. Options trading, when done right, it's not a lottery ticket. It's a skill. And like any skill worth having, it requires patience, consistency, and effort to master. There is no shortcut, just the steady application of solid principles over time. But even after I learned my lesson about get rich quick schemes, I still made another critical mistake that cost me years of progress and lost me tens of thousands of dollars in the process. You see, after my early failures, I became obsessed with finding the perfect trading strategy. It felt like each day I would just jump from one strategy to another. You know, my week would look something like, well, Monday we're doing iron condors, Tuesday we're doing calendar spreads, Wednesday we're doing leaps, Thursday we're doing reverse jade lizards, and then Friday I'd find something else to do, because the next week I'll be back to square one, chasing yet another shiny new strategy. And I was consistently switching strategies without ever giving myself enough time to truly understand, let alone master any of them. And it was exhausting, confusing, and worst of all, it was completely ineffective. Because imagine trying to learn to speak Spanish, French, German, and Japanese all simultaneously. You'd end up speaking none of them fluently, right? And that's exactly what happened to me with my approach to options trading. This chaotic approach went on for nearly a year, and my results were predictably terrible. Sure, I'd occasionally have a winning trade, but there was no consistency. I couldn't tell if my wins were due to skill or just dumb luck. And I had no systematic approach, no clear understanding of what was working and what was not working. And then finally, after spinning my wheels for a year, something clicked. I found a simple strategy that resonated with me. And instead of immediately jumping ship when something else caught my eye, I made the life-changing decision to commit to mastering just one strategy for 6 months straight. No distractions, no jumping from one thing to another, and no FOMO when I saw other people talking about making big money with different approaches. And the results spoke for themselves. Within 3 months, I was consistently profitable. 6 months in, I developed my own nuances and adjustments tailored specifically to my risk tolerance and my goals. By the end of the year, my options portfolio was generating reliable income for the first time ever. And so the lesson itself was crystal clear. Mastering one strategy is infinitely more valuable than having a surface level knowledge of dozens of them. It's far better to become a specialist than just remain a generalist, especially when you're just starting out. Because, options trading is vast. You've got your calls, your puts, your credit spreads, your iron condors, your butterflies, your broken wings, and dozens more. Trying to master them all at once is not only impossible, it's simply counterproductive. So the solution? Pick just one strategy and get really good at it before you move on. If you're a complete beginner and if you're starting from zero, I would strongly recommend starting with something simple like covered calls or cash secured puts. Put them together, you've got the wheel. They're straightforward, got clearly defined risk, and you're building a solid foundation for understanding the more advanced strategies down the road. Because depth beats breadth every single time. Master one strategy first and you'll set yourself up for lasting success down the line. Now, once I'd chosen my strategy and committed to mastering it, I faced another critical decision, one that would dramatically affect my learning curve. And this is where I made yet another mistake that I still see countless new traders repeating today. Because when you're first learning options, one of the more commonly repeated pieces of advice is just do paper trading first. If you don't know what paper trading is, it's simulated trading using fake money. And on the surface, this advice seems logical, right? Because you're practicing the strategy risk-free, and then when you're profitable with it, you can switch to real money. But here's the harsh truth about paper trading. It simply doesn't work, at least not in the way you intend it to. And it took me a lot of painful reflection to understand why. Paper trading can teach you the mechanics. Things like how to place orders, how to understand your positions, how to track your trades. But it doesn't prepare you for the psychological side of trading, which is actually far more important for your long-term success. And just think about it for a second. With paper trading, there are no consequences. You can take huge positions without feeling any anxiety. You can calmly hold when volatility is going on because there's no actual money being lost. And you're getting the results, yeah, but without the actual experience of managing your emotions while under pressure. It's kind of like learning to swim by reading a book about swimming. Yeah, sure, you understand the theory of how to move your arms and legs, but the moment you jump into real water, everything changes. So here's what you should do instead of paper trading. You start trading with real money, but you keep your positions extremely small. I'm talking about doing one contract on a low price stock. So you're risking maybe $100 on a trade. And so even though the dollar amount is tiny, the emotional experience of actually having money on the line is invaluable. And it's something that you can't replicate if you're paper trading, because real trading isn't just about strategy, it's about psychology. Managing the fear, the greed, the hope, the doubt, the emotions that only come to the surface when real money is at stake. Because the first time I properly sold put options, I was only risking maybe 50 or $100 on a single trade. The positions were so small, but the lessons were big, because I still felt the anxiety of what if this trade doesn't go my way, the satisfaction of locking in the profits, and the roller coaster that comes with dealing with market volatility. And there's something so powerful about having real money at risk, even if it is just small amounts. It forces you to experience the entire trading process, from placing those orders to managing those positions and to dealing with things when they go wrong. And none of these realities can be learned through paper trading alone. So as your confidence and competence grow, then you can gradually increase your position sizing. But always remember the golden rule: never risk more than you can comfortably afford to lose, especially when you're just starting out. Now, even after I'd learned the importance of trading with real money and focused on just one strategy, there's still one more mistake that I made for far too long. And that one kept me from truly understanding my results and slowed me down from improving as fast as I could have. So in short, I wasn't tracking my trades properly. Because when I first started trading options, my tracking, if you could call it that, was minimal at best. Like, obviously I knew what positions I had on and I had a general idea of whether I was making or losing money. But if you asked me the specifics, like which strategies were the most profitable, which stocks were working the best for me, or what my actual win rate even was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But then I decided to get serious. So I created a simple spreadsheet, and all I did was commit to tracking every single trade. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Entry and exit dates, the exact strategy that I used, the underlying stock that I used, exactly how much premium I was receiving or paying, the commissions and fees, and the final results. And the results were eye-opening and really changed everything for me going forward. Because suddenly, once you track everything, clear patterns emerge. Patterns that I'd never noticed before. For example, I realized that me selling puts works the best when I targeted stocks that only had moderate volatility. I also discovered that my win rate dropped dramatically whenever I was entering trades when the VIX was over 30. And these insights weren't guesses anymore. Now they were clear, data-backed conclusions that I could only have reached by meticulously tracking my trades. So here's my advice to you. If you're serious about this and you want to succeed with options trading long term, you need a tracking system from day one. It doesn't have to be anything super complicated or fancy. A simple spreadsheet is all you need to get started. But you've got to commit to updating it religiously after every trade. And I'll even put the sheet that I use down below so you can use it as well. And it's this basic habit that's actually your secret weapon, because the insights that you will gain are worth their weight in gold. And what they'll do is accelerate your learning curve dramatically. And this one simple step will actually put you miles ahead of 90% of traders who never even bothered to track anything they do. And if you don't track anything you do, you're gonna get random results. And this last lesson was something that took me years to understand. I started getting consistent results with this approach. There was still one crucial piece missing from the puzzle. And this is something that's overlooked by even experienced traders. And that was that I was trading completely alone. So for the first few years of trading, I didn't talk to anyone about what I was doing. I didn't have any friends in my personal life who were doing anything like what I was doing. And most people around me simply didn't understand options. So it felt easier just to keep everything to myself. But looking back, that isolation was a huge mistake because it slowed down my growth and made this journey far more difficult and lonely than it needed to be. So if I could start over again, I'd intentionally build relationships with two very specific groups of people right from day one. The first group would be people in the same positions as me, other traders learning the same strategy, because these are your peers. These are people on the same journey as you. And it gives you a safe space to openly share your experiences, your strategies, your wins, your lessons from your losses. And you can do this all without judgment, because you'll learn so much more from other people's mistakes. You'll get fresh insights, and also you'll motivate each other to keep improving. This is why I'm so proud of our community inside Options Cashflow Accelerator, because there's no egos there. We're all walking the same path and we all want each other to win. And the second group is reaching out to experienced traders that you admire and respect. Connecting with people who are already successful can feel intimidating, but at the end of the day, we're all just regular people. All it takes is reaching out with a quick email or direct message saying, hey, look, I really admire your work. Thank you for everything that you do. I've learned a ton from you. And I know that might sound awkward or even a bit weird at first, but allow me to share a quick personal story to show you how powerful this can be. So back in 2020, when I first started my business, Freeman Publications, I sent a few emails to traders that I respected. Wasn't any agenda behind them, just genuine appreciation for their work. But fast forward a few years, and I actually ended up collaborating with some of these same people that I had emailed. And so these simple emails actually turned into valuable professional relationships. And here's why building these relationships matters so much. These experienced traders can help you avoid costly mistakes. They can share what's working for them, and they can also provide emotional support during the inevitable drawdowns because they've already been through it. And so having these people in your corner and having accountability partners keeping you disciplined is invaluable, because it's so easy to break your own rules when nobody's watching. It's much harder when you know someone else is going to hold you accountable to your decisions. And so today, 17 years into my investing journey, I can confidently say that I'm still learning every single day. And a big part of that is because I've surrounded myself with smart, motivated people who challenge me to keep growing. And I've met some incredible people through social media, through sending emails every day, and through conferences that I've attended. And don't get me wrong, I'm still human. I still make mistakes, but I no longer see my mistakes as wasted time, because every single misstep helped shape me into the trader that I am today. I'm definitely not the smartest, richest, or certainly the most famous options trader out there, but I've embraced the journey, and I want you to be able to do that as well. So if you are brand new, if you're starting from zero and you want to see the exact beginner-friendly strategy that I recommend, then check out my video, which is a full walkthrough of the options wheel strategy. I'll walk you step by step through generating consistent income. See you in the next one.